How you doing? My name is Greg. I'm kind of starting this video journaling or diary in a sense, and the purpose I'm doing this is, as I read through the Bible and I read through God's Word, certain things come to my mind, and I'm kind of inspired. And when God points something out to me or is teaching me, I tend to forget what God's taught me, and so I wanted to do this video journaling diary thing because I'm really horrible at journaling. In fact, I do journal and I write stuff down and I lose it, so it doesn't really help me. so here's my attempt at maybe if I make a video, then I'm more likely to come back to it and kind of see how God's been teaching me. But today I was reading through the book of Thessalonians, 1 Thessalonians chapter 1, and the book of Thessalonians is really near and dear to my heart because my wife and I have actually had a chance to stay an extended amount of time in the city, and it was a really special time in our lives, and we love it, and we kind of consider it our home. So we love Thessaloniki. So that being said, I'll start off. So 1 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 9 and 10, it says, "For they themselves report about us what kind of reception we had with you, and how you turned to God from idols to serving a living and true God, and to wait for his Son from heaven, whom he raised from the dead, that is Jesus, who rescues us from the wrath to come." And there's two things that really kind of stand out in this passage to me, and the first one is chapter 9 says, For they themselves report about us what kind of reception we had with you. And if you remember early on in the book, there's Paul and Silvanus and Timothy, and these guys went through and they stayed in Thessaloniki, and they kind of built the church and built this ministry going on in Thessaloniki. And when they left, the ministry was vibrant and thriving, growing. And so when they write this book to these people saying, look, we have nothing wrong to say to you, nothing wrong to tell you to change, because you guys are doing good. And we want to encourage you and build you up and to stay on that path. And how encouraging would that be for, these, I guess, Hall of Famers of the faith coming through and saying, hey, look, you guys are doing great. Everything's going good. And, we've heard about your work, and we're right on board. You guys are doing awesome. And when he says how you've turned to God from idols to serve a living and true God, and how cool is that to see that here's these people that were so they were raised and ingrained with living a certain way, and that they've left that behind and they've turned from that, and now they're serving a true and living God. How awesome is that? So I know in our current life, especially in America, we struggle with this. We struggle with serving idols, and I know it's not the same kind of idols that you think of in the rest of the world, that there's little statues and pictures or paintings that people are bowing down to and worshiping. But we serve idols in our own way. Remember, an idol is anything that we put in place of God, that we give more credit to that rather than God. And I know for a lot of people we struggle with things like our money and physical appearance, image. It could be in that. I know. They say money doesn't bring happiness, but when you have money, you're not fearful of what's to come. You understand what I'm saying? Like people. One of the hardest things for us to do, especially as Americans, is trust God with our finances. Saying, God, whatever I have, I trust it in you. I trust you with this. And we rely so much on ourselves to provide for ourselves rather than the true living God. And that could be an idol for us. Same with image. I live in LA, and image is a huge thing. And I feel the pressure of it. Go to the gym, eat right. Look a certain way, make sure you have the right clothes and hairstyle and those kind of things, and image is an idol that we could serve. And I think those kind of idols can be more dangerous than the little ones, because the little statues we can look at that and say, yeah, this didn't create the universe. But the non-statue idols or icons and things that we serve almost kind of creep in, like slowly and progressively get worse and worse and worse, and build and build and build, because we don't realize how destructive and dangerous they really are. But remember, Paul encourages them and says, you've left those things, and you've turned to God from idols to serve a living and true God. In verse 10 it says, and to wait for his Son from heaven, whom he raised from the dead, that is Jesus, who rescues us from the wrath to come. Now here's a little scary part in here. It doesn't say the wrath that might come, or the wrath that could come. It says the wrath from the wrath to come. So there's a wrath coming. And I don't mean to be all doom and gloom, it is 2012, but, and maybe it's good that we're thinking about that this year. Maybe it's good. Disclaimer, I don't believe in the whole mind thing. Okay, but, as Christians, we like the good things about being Christian. We like to think of the warm and fuzzies about being Christian, rather than the difficult, hard, suffering, perseverance type things. And, we forget that there's a judgment coming. And it may not be the end of the world judgment. We may not live that long. Christ may not come back in our lifetime, but every single person, there's a judgment we have to pay for the sin that we've committed. And we don't know when that's coming, but it is coming. Judgment is coming. And how encouraging is it for us to know that even though that wrath is coming and that judgment is coming, that we've been forgiven. That if we accept Christ, we can have freedom from sin, and we can be forgiven. So when judgment comes, that we're pure in the eyes of Christ. And like I said, we kind of gloss over those difficult passages about, hey, wrath is coming. That you may not know what tomorrow holds. You may not get it tomorrow. But like I said, there's hope. That we have hope. So anyway, those are some quick thoughts that have kind of been important to me today, and thought I would put them out there. Like I said, I'm doing this primarily for me, because I really want to kind of keep a record of what God's teaching me. But at the same time, if I can benefit somebody else in the process, I'd love to do that too. Anyway, like I said, name is Greg, and hope to put more of these out. We'll see how good I am at this video thing. Anyway, have a good one.